Welcome to RMIS Academy's newspaper teaching class. Myself is Rajesh, Faculty of Current Affairs and Sociology. So we should understand this NGT stays felling of coconut trees on Agati. Agati happens to be an island in Lakshadweep. So we should understand this particular type of news is really important because India is planning to promote their coastal region on the basis of cultural, educational, and tourism activities. We need to promote that particular island for benefit of India. Hence, each and every island have their own management plan. And yes, of course, we have an all India management plan that happens to be integrated coastal zone management plan. See, this integrated coastal zone management plan is a process for which the management of coastal areas using integrated approach regarding all aspects of coastal zone, including geographical and political boundaries. We should promote our coastal region because without promoting the coastal areas, we cannot ensure the safety of the particular island itself. So by involving the local environment, local geographical condition, even the political boundaries, we should promote the particular coast. And thus, Government of India came out something called Integrated Coastal Zone Management Plan. And finally, this particular integrated coastal management zone should achieve sustainability. But here, by cutting the particular coconut tree, we cannot achieve the sustainability. You can find here integrated island management plan that happens to be only for Lakshadweep. But this particular zone, coastal management zone, is for whole India. This particular concept is born out of 1992 Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This particular coastal management zone concept is followed by almost every nations in the world. In India, it is followed by, of course, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climatic Change under the Department of Forest and Environment. And please understand, this particular project is approved and assisted by World Bank. They give you money to promote your coastal area and make your coastal area more sustainable. But you see in the Agati Island, now they are going to cut down the coconut trees for the improvement of coastal area. That doesn't seems to be more sustainable. That is why the Southern Bench of National Green Tribunal came heavily on the administration of Lakshadweep and said what you are doing is unsustainable. Moreover, the National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management that happens to be in Chennai, which is actually a technical agency that will provide technical and scientific input to the particular plan, how we can promote every coastal areas. And we should understand about the particular agency. The aim and objective of center of the particular center is strive for being a world-class knowledge institute related to coastal zone, environment, resource and processes. See, coastal zone are highly resourceful area. You should exploit the resources for the national good. But at the same time, you should not exploit without any scientific basis. Because if you are going to exploit those zones without any scientific basis, then it will definitely lead to problem. Hence, they clearly says that the knowledge should be accommodative. It should be inclusive. You should include the local people also in the particular process. So we should get a good knowledge. That's the first objective. To promote integrated and sustainable management of coastal and marine area in India for benefit of and well-being of traditional coastal and island communities. You are taking the knowledges of fishermen in order to protect the coastal area. And that particular protection of coastal area should include the fishermen also. That's called inclusive. Subsequently, the last one, advise the union and state government and other associated stakeholders on policy and scientific matter related to integrated coastal zone management plan. So it is important to advise because state governments and central governments are completely depend upon the particular center in Chennai in order to promote the coastal areas. Got it? So please understand the coastal management plan. This is for whole India, but what Lakshadweep did is only for Lakshadweep. But anyhow, it is against the particular coastal management, integrated coastal management zone plan. Got it? The next news of today, parents, the first and natural tutors. A very important news, especially with respect to society and ethics. What are the issues? What are the solutions? We'll go into the background first. See, the present new education policy came out something called early childhood care and education. See, the early childhood care and education is all related to preschools. Preschool, LKG and UKG. It is all related to early childhood care and education. This particular new new education policy also gave importance to this particular preschooling before first standard. What you are doing, it is also giving more important. And early newspaper teaching class, we saw something called 5 plus 3 plus 4. In that 5, the first 3 years is preschooling. So that is all related to early childhood care and education. Over 85% of children's cumulative brain develop occurs before the age of 6. Your personality, the whole brain working capacity will attain a zenith before 6 years of age. Yet over 5 crore children in India are estimated not to have foundational literacy and numeracy in India because they are lacking the early childhood care and education. Now, what this particular new education policy says. So the new education policy lays out detailed paradigm for educators to provide high quality early childhood care and education. High quality early childhood care and education. Because now in the new education policy, they recognized 5. First 5 is all related to 3 years of preschooling and 2 years of first standard and second standard. So now they recognize the importance of preschooling also. That's a foundation. If the building want to be strong, the foundation should be very strong. And that particular preschool is called foundation. It also talks about how parents can be active stakeholder in the children's 3 years of preschooling. Preschooling, that's a very important one because parents should be very close to the students at the time. After first standard or second standard, somehow teachers can cope up. But in preschool, that happens with the foundation of the children's future education. The parent can be an active stakeholder. That is recognized by new education policy. Parents are the children's first and natural tutors at that age. Involving them is necessary to ensure that children learn the foundation skills they need to be success in school. So parents is a first step for children's future endeavors. Got it? It is recognized by this particular policy. But what is the problem? See, but how can low income parents who is devoting more time in earning income and physical stress and mental stress, and how come they can contribute in getting more involved in early childhood care and education? That's a very big problem. At present, 30% of low income parents does not send their school even to preschools. They want to send the particular students directly to first standard. Instead, many opt to send children to primary school too early at the age of 4 or 5, which happens to be too early, when they are still cognitive and emotionally unprepared for class 1 studies. So you should send your children to preschooling, that is preschool, lower kindergarten and upper kindergarten. All these 3 years are very important and these considered to be a foundation years, but the parents are not ready to send their children to that particular school. Moreover, the awareness about the preschool is very, very low. Hence, it is important to bring in awareness. That's the issue. And subsequently, the solutions. Building aspirations. See, building aspiration through the role modeling and mass media and social media. Any a cricket player or celebrities or a politician should come out and say, yes, it is important to promote preschooling. After doing such, it will create awareness among parents. What are the importance of preschooling? Subsequently, providing related information because the parents are not provided with the related information. That is why they are not ready to send their children to preschool. So information must be simplified and contextual. Creation, curative, and dissemination of content that is in their local language, relevant to their context, and relatively convenient to administer is necessary. Because you are providing certain informations, it should not be in English always. It should be in a local language. It should be very creative in nature so that the parent can easily understand what is the particular content is all about, and the content is bringing awareness related to the preschooling. And the third solution is measuring progress. It is important to measure the progress. How good the parent are reacting to the particular content. How good the children are also getting involved in the preschooling. The children progress and growth can be measured through rigorous assessment and through visual learning journeys. Sharing results with parents and developing plans in partnership with them can ensure that truly no children is left behind. It is important that no children should be left behind, and make sure teachers should come close with the parents. Hence, we can build a right path for children to attain what they needed in a future life. Got it? So it is important to note that parents are first and fruitful mentors for all the children. Without parents, we cannot build a better pathway for children. And next news of today, Pakistan behind Chinese info war on border standoff. See, you should understand there's something called information warfare. We know there are a lot of different types of warfare, and information warfare is a new phenomenon where you are giving false information to the crowd and make sure the crowd react to the government. Here in this matter, the Chinese government and Pakistani government using information and communication technology spread false information about Indian government and Indian military regarding the standoff in Akshay Chin region. According to that, they said what India did is wrong, but according to India, what China did is wrong. So, disseminating false information to people and make sure people reacting against the particular government is the idea behind information warfare. See, this information warfare, we are not sure when it starts, when it ends. It is a process always. It is not end in itself. It have no ending. It is just a process. We will promote false informations through various accounts, and in this particular piece of news, even the Mandarin language is a Chinese language. It is used so that the Chinese people can learn that the false information are spreaded by Pakistan and they'll think it is true. So Chinese local language is very important. Got it? So you should understand that information warfare is a manipulation of information trusted by a target without target awareness. Target is a person who's a reader, so that the target will make decision against their own interests, and they will take decision on the interest of one conducting information warfare. So even certain Indians who believes what China is doing is correct thought that Indian army is exceeding because of this particular false information. These false information will revolve around you in social media especially. Social media happens to be a very strong media nowadays, and that media is believed by many. And these false information circulate within India, and naturally the Indians will take step against Indian government. That is the ultimate goal of this information warfare. You should understand the particular picture: espionage, sabotage, and deception. What is deception? Deception is like covering a particular information or manipulating a particular information. Espionage, you are following a particular person or particular information as if the particular information is correct, and you should make sure everybody thinks that information is correct. It's called espionage. Espionage is spying. How good you can spy, and spying out and try to find out what people are thinking, If I knew what people are thinking, then I can write false information so that it can reach the people very easily in local language, involving local culture. I can do it. So espionage is like spying. So are very important concepts. And sabotage is destroying something. After bringing a manipulated information, after bringing the manipulated information through a proper spying, and I can easily reach the people because I loaded my information with local cultural elements, especially language and local stories incorporated into the information, and make sure it appears a true information. And finally reaching out those people, and that particular people will definitely think that those information is correct, and they start acting against the government, and that's called sabotage. So deception, espionage, and sabotage, all these three things will come together. I can say J&K citizens are manipulated, are spied, and finally they are now fighting against government of India, as if government of India is wrong. No, government of India is not at all wrong. Got it? What they are doing for J&K is right, because we need to develop those peoples. But the people are loaded with enough false information, and hence they are acting against the government of India. So this information warfare, final outcome is a physical violence also, and they will destroy the trust which the people have on government. So information warfare are new type of warfare. See, if you understand, there are a word called information filter. For example, all the medias in China are under the control of Chinese government. So according to Chinese government, they will write how others want to view them. So we don't know the real information about China. That's all a type of information warfare. China is not giving any right information. Even with the COVID-19, China forgot or refused to provide correct information to WHO when it was needed. Hence, it created a very big problem, and thus we are suffering because of the problem. It's all the part and parcel of information warfare. Withholding certain information is also a information warfare. So in this information warfare, which is a new type of warfare, where we have three components: deception, espionage, and sabotage. That's a final outcome. Got it? So we'll go into the next news. An analog library gets a new avatar. See, in Arunachal Pradesh, 3 districts where you can find constant encounters between Naga extremists and police. In those 3 districts, a people called Wancho community, they want to make reading as their habit. Say they promoted reading hall in old government building. So we'll go into the particular community. Got it? See, this community people are basically Nagas only. Got it? This community people are basically Nagas, and they are from this particular Patkai range that happens to be very close to Myanmar border within India, Arunachal Pradesh. So since it is very close to Myanmar border, high insurgencies, high encounters between government forces and insurgencies. So they speak something called Konyak language. This particular language is Tibeto-Burmese family language. It is a subfamily of Sino-Tibeto language. Got it? See, their religion is animism. What is animism? Animism is believing in spirit. Spirit, ghost worship we used to call. We, as an Indian, always consider ghost as a god, equivalent to a god. We used to believe the person who died early, our ancestors, are still exist in the form of spirit, spirit, anima. So anima is worship of ghost or spirit. And their famous hobby is tattooing. Even their faces are completely tattooed. Wancho tribe, their prime festival is, of course, Oria. This particular festival generally happens for more than 2 weeks, and they will exchange rice beer within their family members. It's a very colorful festival. And you should understand a word called Wangham or Wangsa. Wangsa or Waham is nothing more than a village chief, a senior male member of the village, is the head of the particular village, and that institution is called as Wangham or Wangsha. So these are the basic information about the particular Wangcho tribes. They happens to be the Naha tribes in turn. Got it? So tribes who are doing some excellent work in India should be noted, because those are potential questions for your prelims examination. Subsequently, the last news of today, that's going to be a very big news. Rebuild India's confidence, revive the economy. You should understand, one of the author of this particular piece of editorial is Dr. Manmohan Singh, who happens to be ex-RBI governor and more importantly, ex-Prime Minister of India. So we'll go into the impact and solutions. This particular article completely deals about impacts and solutions. So what is the impact? First one, slow growth, rising unemployment, and strained financial system, which was there in India even before the epidemics or pandemics, and the particular epidemic made it more painful. So we already suffering from slow growth, we already suffering from rising unemployment, and we are already suffering from financial system strain. Example for this is increasing non-performing assets in Indian banking system. But now it made even more painful, because those things are already there, and because of pandemics and because of lockdown, there is no chances of revival. Moreover, the economic impact of COVID-19 is expected to bigger than the health impact itself. But what we are thinking is the health impact is more important, but the authors clearly mention that after some time we will understand the economic impact will overtake the health impact caused by the COVID-19, and fear, uncertainty, and insecurity are prevalent in people, firm, and institutions. Institutions like RBI, SEBI, or those institutions, firms, companies, and people. Everybody shares fear, uncertainty, and insecurity. So it is important for Government of India to avoid these type of insecurities. We will understand what are the solutions given by the particular authors. Before getting to the solution, few more problems also addressed. Indian economy is expected to contract. Contract means the Indian economy will grow in negative terms. Got it? For first time in recent decades. Slipping back into poverty, there is a chance many will slip back into poverty. Many enterprises may be forced to shut down because there is no work. Many enterprises will force to shut down. Naturally, it will create unemployment problem also. Severe unemployment may lead to wastage of human resource of entire generation. Yes, of course, because of no work, no human development, naturally wastage of entire generation may happen. Shortage of financial resources like the lending ability of the banks is getting down nowadays. Impact the state ability to feed and educate the children, vulnerable and most affected person, because the state or the government should be more equipped with financial resources. The treasury should be filled with money. If there is no money, they cannot feed and provide all the social security needs of the need people. The need people are children, vulnerable people. Hence, it is important to promote financial stability also. And they come up with certain solutions. The solutions are very important. The path for sustainable recovery is to improve confidence and sentiments in society using economic tools of fiscal and monetary policies. Fiscal policy is 1 year policy that happens to be budget, and monetary policy is by RBI. We should install confidence and create good sentiments, positive sentiments within the people. How we can do it? Cash transfer. See, now the people seeking to employ within NREGA is ever increasing. But how much ever money we are pumped into NREGA, it is not enough. See, India is the only nation in a major economy forgot to give direct cash transfer to people at the time of pandemics. So the authors says that we need to promote direct cash assistance to poor. Other than Narega, we need to promote direct cash assistance. Let the people feel money in their hand, so they'll be happy. See, money in hands of people can provide an immediate sense of security and confidence. So once you promote security and confidence, so cash transfer is a very important topic. Subsequently, within the cash transfer, the authors argued that apprehension that providing cash transfer may make the people not to work. But according to authors, it is wrong. Even though in USA, they are giving huge economic assistance to the people, still the people are looking for employment. There is an apprehension, there is an idea, there's a false idea in government that if I give a lot of money to the people or cash transfer to the people, they will not look for employment. But that is wrong. The world example is proven wrong. According to USA government is giving more cash benefits to the people, but still they are looking for employment. So there is no relation between direct cash transfer and unemployment. We should relate that even though I get money from government, still I look for employment. Hence, the government of India should not fear to provide direct cash benefits. That's the first one, cash benefit. Direct cash benefit is the first solution. Second one, addressing financial systems challenge. Financial systems are nothing more than bank systems. So interest rate reduction. When you reduce the interest rate, many will come forward to get a loan. They will start a business. Employment will pick up. Naturally, economy will pick up. Credit guarantee and liquidity enhancement scheme. Credit guarantee. That is, I will give you a loan based on credit guarantee and enhancement scheme. I will give you more credit. Even though you don't have any collateral, I will give more credit because it is time to give credits. Moreover, RBI did all, but the problem within this is the banks are not ready to lend the particular citizens. RBI did everything. They have reduced the interest rate. They also promoted credit guarantee and liquidity enhancement scheme. Liquidity is making sure we have a lot of cash in hand so that the bank can give loan to the citizens. But the banks are not ready to give because the banks are not confident enough the money what they are going to lend will come back. So they think NPA will rise by giving more loan. They are not ready to do it. So it is important to install confidence on banking system before doing it. Hence, capital infusion and disinvestments of public bank is very important. What is capital infusion? Capital infusion is like when a bank really hunger of money, government of India can give money to the bank so that the bank can give money to the people. And disinvestments, we already discussed what is called disinvestments. In every bank, government, every public sector bank, government hold major shares. Why can't you sell the shares and get money and start lending the money to the people? So capital infusion and disinvestments will bring in more confidence for the bank for lending purpose. Subsequently, allowing institutions like RBI to work freely and professionally, because according to the authors, the government is not allowing the RBI and the professional institutions to work freely. It is important to allow them work freely. Subsequently, restoring confidence among investors. See, entrepreneurs must feel confident about reopening and making investments. How you can promote those things? By promoting confidence in the system. The confidence among people to spend and among bankers to lend will induce confidence in the private sector to reopen. Already you gave cash transfer to the people. Now they are confident of spending. And you already gave certain capital infusions and disinvestments for bank. So now they are confident of lending. If both comes to picture, now private will also do everything very properly. So installing confidence on people by giving cash transfer and installing confidence on banking system by providing capital infusions will definitely bring a good private sector investment confidence. Restoring confidence among businesses with greater access to capital. You already bring more confidence on banking, which will definitely promote the capital lending by the banks. So private will get a lot of capital. Subsequently, they will invest and create more jobs, which will create a better future. Subsequently, they also speaks about financial resources. So given that the government is facing a major shortfall in revenue already spoke about financial fiscal deficit. Last newspaper teaching class, we should understand tax revenues is going to come down because many have no job, no tax, and that new avenues for tax revenue are not feasible because many are not going jobs, no money, no tax. In the situation, in the short term, higher borrowing will definitely help the government. Higher borrowing from the people or from the major financial institutions like IMF and World Bank. These are the banks that generally lend to the government. So we should use all the avenues available for Government of India to get money from international financial institutions. Full use of World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and International Monetary Fund is needed as of now. Subsequently, deficit monetization. Deficit monetization is a type of mechanism used by Government of India. Simply means more printing of money. More printing of money. If you print more circulation, more employment. But that should be a last resort after all those options exhausted. And this happens to be a very good long written editorial, very important. And these points you can use anywhere, anytime. The question with respect to revival of Indian economy. Got it? So please learn it clearly. We'll go to the prelims question. Choose the following statement regarding integrated coastal management plan. It is supported by Global Environment Facility. No, it is supported by World Bank. The project is implemented by, that's correct. The National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management is providing the needed data. Yes, that's correct. So incorrect statements. No, it's a correct statement, not incorrect statements. The correct statement is, of course, 2 and 3. The main question, the cost of health will be overtaken by the cost of economy because of epidemics. That's what the word from authors of the particular news. So with reference to the statement, suggest measures to revive the economy. Learn all the 4 points which is authored by ex-Prime Minister of India. You should learn all the 4 points. Subsequently, you can write within 250 words, not more than 250 words. I taught you a lot. Try to shrink it and write within 250 words. So thank you for listening. RMIS Academy's newspaper teaching class. Have a nice day.